Happy Sabbath. Happy day. Let's believe and pray. Our Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, it's another time that you have led us throughout the week until this time that we have gathered at this place. Thank you for this gift of fellowship and gift of learning and understanding your word. As we are going to start the class, we pray for the providence of the Holy Spirit to guide us through, and everything that we are going to learn, let it be of benefit to us all at the end. I pray this, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen. So today, I'd like us to revisit some of the past studies that we have been doing. It's not that new because we have been doing it from the time you are at our SDA churches. So it is about the kingdoms of Bible prophecy. So this is what I would like us to revisit today, but to be precise, I'll be dealing with specifically the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I'm not going to details maybe and explain much about the events on how maybe Joy was explaining on the last class, but for me, I'll be just I'll try to arrange the kingdoms in order. Then I'll do comparison and try to apply some of the kingdoms in the present. So that's what I will be doing today. So um, in the Bible, this kingdom are always represented using symbols. Most of these kingdoms of Bible prophets we know they are kingdoms that rule the world, and we can only see them in the Bible being represented using different symbols. So I think we understand that one, that kingdom can be represented using anything, because we know at some point in the Bible you see kingdoms being represented using metals. Other places we can see animals, plants, isn't it? Different symbols are used to represent kingdoms of Bible prophecy. So we will go through 4 chapters. We're not going to read much, but we'll be maybe reading one verse. But I want us to go through Daniel 2, Daniel 4, Daniel 7, Daniel 8. We're not going to read, but we're going to name the symbols that are used to represent different kingdoms. Then we draw something like a table, and then the end of the study is to make a comparison on these kingdoms and try to look like how is the end of the world going to look like. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll start from Daniel 2. So I'd like us to start from Daniel 2. And from Daniel 2, we can see that you have different symbols that are used in Daniel 2 to represent the kingdoms of Bible prophecy. So if someone is there, I want us to go direct to that point where we see those symbols being named. We're not going to read all the chapter because we want to finish the study. So someone who's there, Daniel 2, or I read. Let me read because of maybe it will take time to recap what someone has read. So Daniel 2 is about a dream that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed, and this dream is of an image of a human being, and this image of a human being was made of different metals. So we are going to read. We know the image of a human being. We have the head, we have the breast, the hand, the belly, the thighs, the leg, and foot. So it just represented what we can see the outside. So that's the image of Daniel 2. So we are going to read Daniel 2. I think that one. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and arm of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, and feet part of iron and part of clay. So this is the image that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed, and it is an image of a human being. As you can see, it has parts of a human body. So maybe someone can help us uh, bring out the symbols that are used in Daniel 2. The first one is, so yes, so I want us to write it as the way it is in the verse. The head, start from the body parts and then we go to the metal that was used. So head of gold, isn't it? So this is head of gold. So this is the first symbol, isn't it? So the second is breast and hands, isn't it? Arms. This is of silver. Then the third, have the belly and thighs of brass. Then the fourth one, leg of then the last one. So these are feet, iron and clay. So these are the symbols that are used in Daniel 2 to represent different kingdoms. So we have seen that we have like 5 symbols that are used to represent maybe 5 kingdoms that will rule the world. So as we can see, these metals and body parts that are used, we usually say that symbols are not just used because they have a meaning. So from Daniel 2, you can derive two things. You can derive here using the metals that we have. You can derive which was the strongest kingdom to the weakest, and you can also derive the richest to the poorest in terms of these metals. You can do that one, but um, so I was trying to do something like a research, and I saw that in terms of structure and hardness. So I was trying to do something like trying to take these symbols and maybe try to find which was the strongest in terms of structure and hardness. Iron is the strongest metal, followed by brass, gold, silver, and then clay. Then when you go to the cost, we'll say that gold is the most expensive, silver, brass, iron, then clay. So from here you can say like the fourth kingdom like was the strongest one, the fourth and the fifth. Then you can go to the third, then we can go to the first, then this one. So you can do that one. Then in terms of the wealthiest kingdom, you can say this is the first one because gold is the most expensive, then followed by silver, brass, then iron, clay, like that. So that was by the way, you can just if you go to history, you can read and see that the first kingdom was very, very rich. So let's go to Daniel 7. Sorry, Daniel 4. So Daniel 4, I usually call it the pen or the testimony of Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, because if you read from verse 1, you will say that he's saying that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, and to all the nation and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. So Daniel 4 is talking about, it's a story like a narration or a testimony that Nebuchadnezzar is giving to is narrating. You can see the person speaking in Daniel 4 is Nebuchadnezzar because he's talking about how he had a dream about a tree. So it's about a tree which was very tall unto heaven, then the branches spread to all the world. So Nebuchadnezzar is talking about this tree. This is the symbol which is used. And um, after there, he seeks for interpretation of what's the meaning of this tree. So when Nebuchadnezzar goes to seek for the interpretation of that tree, which was tall unto heaven, and the branches spread all over the world, and every bird, every animal, and everything in this world depended on the tree. So Daniel is going to give Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation that you are the tree, that Nebuchadnezzar is the tree. So, and then in this chapter, we'll see that there is an angel or a watcher who comes from heaven and say, cut down the tree. So when the tree is cut down, um, everything that depended on the tree ceases to do what? To exist, because they all depended, they ran away, they flew away, the birds, the animals, everything. So um, you can read 4 verse what? Let's read 4:10. 4 verse 10 says that, thus were the vision of mine head in my bed. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth, and the eye therefore was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the eye therefore reached unto heaven, and the side thereof to end of the earth. So this is what I was thinking about. The eye reached unto heaven, then the branches spread all over the ends of the world. So 12 says, the leaves thereof were fair, and the fruits thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beast of the field ate shadow under it, and the fowl of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said, hew down the tree, and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruits. Let the beast get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with the band of iron, brass, and tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of the heaven, and let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth. So this is Daniel 4 from 10 to around 15. So this is the dream that Nebuchadnezzar is dreaming. So when we see the interpretation down there, um, verse 22, Daniel now is giving the interpretation and saying that, it is thou, O king, that hath grown and become strong, and your greatness is grown and reaches unto heaven and dominion to the end of the earth. So I don't want us maybe to take much of the time. So I want us to agree that the symbol of a tree is the first kingdom in Daniel 4. Then it reaches a point whereby a watcher comes from heaven and says, hew down or cut down the tree. So when the tree is cut, we are told there that there is a stump that is left, and the watcher said that, make sure that you do what? Leave the stump and the roots. So for me, I will say that if you go back to, before you go there, I want us to agree on one thing. If this tree represents the first kingdom, so when the tree is cut, what does it mean? It is the end of the kingdom. How many agree with that? Yes, I've seen Achola. Who has another opinion? When the watcher come and say, cut down the tree, this is the end of the first this symbol, or which represents the first kingdom. So there are two theories. One will say that it is the end of the kingdom. And the other one will say it is Nebuchadnezzar. So there is, for me, I'll take this one as the end of the kingdom when the watcher come and say that cut down the tree. So that is the end of the first kingdom, according to me. So when the tree is cut, we are told that the stump is left on the dew and the root. So it means that if you can if you understand agriculture, if a tree is cut and the stump is left, and it has the roots and there is dew, there is water here. There's a probability. There are a lot of things that can happen. The stump can rot and it can also regerminate and become another tree, isn't it? Yeah. So, but for me, I've seen that the use of dew that in this introduced there, it is intentional to mean that there's possibility of life. So for me, I'll apply and say this tree will regerminate again. But remember, if the tree germinate is not the same, but it's just like a sucker, isn't it? So I will apply it and say the stump is the second kingdom. This one, yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Verse 23. Okay, so that's where I was going. That's where I was going. Maybe I'll answer you. So when the tree is cut, you are left with the stump, isn't it? And this stump, I've said, I'll say there is a lot of possibility, but because of the dew, I can say apply and say it will grow into another tree. So I'll apply and say this is the stump that is left there is the second kingdom that will come after the first one. Then what Joe is saying, there is a stump that has a band. A band is something that is tied round, isn't it? This is a band of brass and a stump, the last one, iron. Yeah, I will interchange them because I know. So for me, I can say this is the same thing that will happen. This kingdom is ruling, this is a tree. And then the watcher comes and say, hew down or cut down the tree. So what is left is the stump, isn't it? So the stump has a probability of growing and become also a tree, but it's not the same as the tree. So, but it's growing from the same tree, the stump of the tree. Then at the end of this kingdom also the watcher will come and say, hew down or cut down this tree. So the tree is cut down, then another one will grow, but it has a stump of brass. So it means that this is a different tree. And then the last one also, this one will be cut, and the watcher will say, hew down the tree. Then the last tree will grow and it will have the stump of iron. So I'll come and apply it here and say, the stump of brass is the third kingdom, and the stump of iron is the fourth. So for me, I can see the repetition of this. Can do an application and see there's a repetition of Daniel 2 in Daniel 4, using maybe the stump and this uh, thing that was tied around, the metals that were tied around the stump. So I think up to there we are okay. If there's someone has a question before we go to Daniel 7. So we can go to Daniel 7. Daniel 7, we read from, you can just give out, give the symbols in Daniel 7 because of time. So the first symbol is Escodo. First symbol, Daniel 7. Yes? Lion, isn't it? I'm not going into details, maybe and explain how the lion looked like. But I think we know, isn't it? Had the wings of eagle, isn't it? Yeah. And then the second one, bear, isn't it? It was a one-sided bear, which had three ribs on the mouth, isn't it? The third symbol, leopard, isn't it? Four-winged. It had four wings of a fall. Then the fourth, yes, dreadful beast, isn't it? Then the fifth, I can say the fourth is also the dreadful beast, but what will, is that the spellings of dreadful? But the difference between this one is that this one had 10 horns, and then this one had 7 plus the little horn, so it is 8. Isn't it? That's the difference between this one and this one. The symbol or the symbol which is used of a dreadful beast is the same, but the difference is just the horns that changes, because this one has 10 horns, then 3 are removed, then we remain with 7. 7, isn't it? Then one little horn comes out of the place where the 3 were removed, so we have 7 plus 1 like 8. So that's the difference between the fourth and the fifth symbol. So let's go to Daniel 8. Yes.
An explanation for the fifth kingdom of Daniel 4 after the stamp of iron.
Here. Yeah, the fifth is there. It will also be this one. We'll compare this one with Daniel 8. Then we'll see that the fifth is missing here and the fifth is also missing here. So you'll see this one is close to this one. This is the stamp of iron is both pagan and purple Rome. It's Rome in general. Yeah, so Daniel 8, the symbols in Daniel 8 are, these are animals. So, and then we come here, we'll see there are also animals, but there are animals that are used in what? The sanctuary, isn't it? For sacrifice. So we have things like ram, goat. These are animals that were used in the sanctuary to do sacrifice, isn't it? A ram is the young one of a sheep, isn't it? So the first symbol in Daniel 8 is what? What's the first symbol? It is Daniel 8 what? 4, isn't it? I saw a ram pushing westward, northward, and southward. So you can say it is the ram, but we'll start from here. The ram is the second. We don't have the first in Daniel 8. Because when we'll come and see Daniel 8:20, it said the ram is the second kingdom, which is Medo-Persia. So we'll see that this is the second, not the first. So we don't have the first. This is because Daniel 8 is written during the third reign of Belshazzar. And during the third reign of Belshazzar is when the first kingdom falls. It is the Daniel 5, where we have the feast of Daniel 5. So we don't have the first, because this is the fall of the first, and the second is starting. So the writer just omitted the first symbol. So we start from the second. So the first one is the ram, the second one is the ram, the third, egot, isn't it? The second one is the egot. So what about the third? Yes? One on, four ons. So in the egot, you can see there is a place where it is named the egot had one notable horn. Then after the horn was broken, then four horns came out of the egot. So you can see that the egot has one horn at some point, then it turns to have four after the one horn was broken. So um, we know that the one horn was the first king, which is Alexander the Great, and after he died, the kingdom was divided into four horns, which is the four generals, isn't it? After the fight. So this one you can say it is the third. Then, so the four horn is not the another symbol; it's just the same kingdom. When you see the egot with four horns, it's just the same kingdom. So verse 9, we have now the egot. So this is the fourth, and I got it from 8, 9. So we know that the little horn came out of one of the horns, out of one of the generals. The fourth kingdom grew out of one of the four horns or the four generals. This is what we know from the text. So you can say this one has like five horns. The four horns, and out of one, the little horn grows. So it is like one of the general is the one who supported Rome to grow. So this is the fourth symbol in. So you can see it is using the same body. You got one horn, then the one horn breaks. You have the four horns, the four general, the division of the third kingdom into four. And then here, one out of one of the horns, you have a little horn which grows, and this is the fourth. So here we can see we don't have the fifth. That is the question that Carl was asking. This is because in Daniel 8, the egot with the little horn and the four horns is used to represent both the fourth and the fifth. You can go to history, you can see that even our pioneers, that's how they say that. And there's a way we used to argue that from verse 10 to verse 13, we can see there's a change from pagan Rome to Roman Rome, pagan Rome to Roman Rome. I remember in the last class I had an argument of the use of the word he and she. And I said when we use she, this is Papal Rome, and when you use he, this is pagan Rome. Remember that class that we had? I don't know if we came to agreement on that, and also it. So if you can read through 10 to 13, you can see there is both pagan Rome and Papa Rome applying, and they are using the same symbol, but they have the same body, but they are different kingdoms. So this is the same as this one. I can also say the stamp with iron represents both pagan Rome and Papa Rome because these are general, same to this one. So I think we are done with Daniel. I'm not going to the other chapters of Daniel, but I'll go to Revelation, then we'll do conclusion. So from Daniel 2, you can say that the first kingdom is Babylon. The interpretation is given that you are the head of gold, isn't it? We can agree on that. So, and when we come to Daniel 5, we see the fall of Belshazzar. We'll see that the kingdom that is coming after that is Medo-Persia, isn't it? And also we can prove that in Daniel 8, isn't it? This is Daniel 8, yeah, Daniel 8:20, where it says that the ram is Medo-Persia. And also from Daniel 8:21, we can prove that the third, the Raf, the eagle that had a Raf coat, it is Greece. This is Daniel 8:21. So the others we usually use history. I don't know if there is somewhere in the Bible where it's written that exactly name like this pagan Rome, this Papa Rome, but we use names like daily robbers of the people to represent what? Pagan Rome, isn't it? And also this one you use the desolate, isn't it? Abomination that make desolate to represent Papa Rome. So I think from here you use we usually use what? History to prove that the fourth, according to our chronological happen, after this kingdom falls, which one did came. So that's how we use. So let us go to Revelation 13 and go to Revelation 13. That's now the most confusing symbol used in the Bible. So Revelation 13, I'll skip 12 because of reasons. 12 is talking about only two kingdoms, which is pagan Rome and Papal Rome, so I'll skip it. But if you can need reference, you can go to Revelation 12. So Revelation 13 is talking about, I read from 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So this beast has seven heads and 10 horns, isn't it? So if we take this one and try to look at the table and see which kingdom is this, we'll get confused because when you talk about 7 heads, we'll come and look 7 at the table, we'll see that it is what? Purple? Wrong, isn't it? 7 here, isn't it? But if we come and look 10 horns, we'll see also it is what? Pagan? Rome. Have you seen the symbols? This the same symbols. If we take them back and compare them with Daniel 7, we see that it has both characteristics of Papa Rome and pagan Rome because of this one. The 7 heads and 10 horns, isn't it? Yeah. So, um, but we can read down and see that verse 2 says, and the beast which I saw was like a leopard. That's another confusion. Leopard is a symbol of what? Greece, isn't it? The body is a leopard. So this is a symbol of Greece. And then the feet were as the feet of bear. Bear is a symbol of what? Medo? Medo-Persia. Then the mouth as the mouth of lion. What is lion? Babylon, isn't it? So we can see that the beast in Revelation 13 has the characteristics of both the kingdoms, from the first one to the fifth. You have seen from the 7 heads, 10 horns, then the body of a leopard, then the feet of bear, and then the mouth of a lion, isn't it? So this is just something that is trying to confuse us because it has the characteristics of both. So, but huh? Yes,
The 7 heads.
yes.
Could you just explain again how where how it's I think you said it's a characteristic of people, no?
Yes, yes.
Or just explain again because I missed it.
Okay, you miss it. So, um, we started from pagan Rome. Pagan Rome was divided. You can say during the years of 400 and something, isn't it? 500, 400 there. It was divided into 10 nations, European nation. We know that 10 nation of Europe. It was divided into 10. So that's where we get the 10 horns from the pagan Rome. Then, after there, when Papa Rome was coming to power, we have the three nations that tried. Maybe they did not go in one accord with Papa Rome, and this is Vandals, Herul, and Ostrogoth. They were removed. So after three are removed out of 10, how many do you remain with? 7. So that's why I say that Papa Rome, 7 heads is a characteristic of Papa Rome.
Because of the number 7.
Number 7.
Not because of
Where? Yeah, I see the difference. It's a difference between these are I'm comparing 7, not the heads, but comparing the number 7. Because there's nowhere else you can get this one. 7. There's no way you can get 7. If you take that 7 and come and look at the table, the only place you can get 7 is from Papa Rome. But yes. In the fifth, there's no. Yes. 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 Okay. Mhm.
the focus now turns away from the dreadful beast to the little horn. So the horn is considered a kingdom in itself. So I think there's actually no concept of seven horns. That's not a focus at all of Daniel 7. So
Okay.
there's nothing like seven horns that we can see, which is why I'm having a hard time comparing the seven heads in
Mm-hmm.
Revelation with these seven.
Okay. Okay, right. So I agree with you. This seven is from where? At the point in which they were removed. We usually say like there were 10, then they removed 3, they remained 7. That's why I've written here, but I know these 7 kingdoms were not part of the little ones, but we see them during this point when the 3 are removed from 3 remain 7, but they are not
My
part.
point is,
Uh,
these seven, they are not a focus at all.
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
moment
sure.
the 10 horns, the moment we started uprooting 3 horns, so there are 10 horns that are in the shadow.
This is the king that is ruling. The little one is the one which is ruling. The 7 are not, they are just a chronological of history. Like I've written here 7 because of chronological of history. Like after this one was removed, we remain with this, but the one which is ruling is this one. This one is not ruling.
Yes.
So the 7
My
ones are
point
not
is
there.
even that symbol is non-existent for me. The symbol of
Okay.
7 is non-existent.
Yeah, right. Sure. I agree with that. Yes.
Um, well, if probably Joy will have a problem with the whole study because the stamp of brass is non-existent, stamp of iron is non-existent.
Yes.
Just to be consistent, because those are not the focus
Yeah.
of the story.
Yes.
But I think for me, I can kind of see how your study is going,
Yes.
and I can see a sense to it.
Yeah.
Because even we know the people Rome was never really a kingdom; it was a church which was supported by other kingdoms itself.
Yes.
So for me, I can see how those 7, even though they were not the focus, in reality, okay, not in reality, but from another perspective, they are the kingdoms which are upholding that little one, which in itself is the papacy, which the papacy is a church.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say, kind of, even though it might not be
Focus.
the original what Daniel was explaining, that all these things, but I think somehow the way you're putting it together, I can see there could be something, yeah, some sort of sense I'm seeing.
Yeah, sure. So up to there, I agree with this. Is not the focus. The 7 are not the focus because what is ruling here is the little one. I think I agree with that, and also the way Kala said, the little one was supported by different countries which were not maybe focus of what we wanted to study. So even this one, I agree also. The 4 ones were just the division, and the little one came from one of them, and then it grew and became an independent. So we have here the 4, but what is ruling here is the little one. So this 4 is just to explain history. It's like a way of trying to explain how it happens. How did the little one come? Because here we have he got, then the little one. There's something which is missing here, which is now the 4 ones. That out of the 4 ones, the little one came, isn't it? Even here, when I wrap this 7, we know that for the little horn to be established, we had to take the 10, remove the 3 rebellious, and then we remain with 7. Then after the 7 were friendly to the little one, now the little one was ready to do what? To rule. So that's right. So I was trying to say that we can see a comparison of the beast in Revelation 13 has some characteristics of Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and what? Rome, because of the do you have 10 ones there here, and Rome because of the pagan Rome because of the 10 horns, isn't it? So, but for us to understand the beast of Revelation 13, we need to go down and see where do we prove that the beast in Revelation 13 is purple Rome from Revelation 13? So I think there is a concept of there. Yeah, verse 5 is one of them. We use verse 3 and verse 5. So verse 3 says, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and this deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered about the beast." So here, when we see about we see these characteristics, we usually do a study on that and say that it is the purple Rome which did what? In 1798, he did receive a deadly wound, isn't it? So, and also what Joel said in verse 5, "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and the power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months." So we usually change the 42 months into years, and then into days, then years, then we get 1260, isn't it? And we say that the kingdom that ruled during the 1260s, purple Rome, isn't it? Yeah, so I think you can say this beast. So how can we name it? Is it a leopard or what? Because it has characteristics, the characteristics of both Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and can you say it's a leopard beast? Because it has a characteristics of Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and pagan Rome. How can we name it? Because it's a confusion. So for me, I'll just name it the leopard beast. So I think the first place that we see the sixth kingdom being mentioned is Revelation 13. So Revelation 13 will talk about 13 verse what? 13 verse 11, isn't it? "And behold, another beast coming up out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb, and it spake as a dragon." So I think this is where we get the sixth beast. It's a ram. So I think we usually go to where do we prove that Revelation 13:11 is talking about the sixth. We shall go to GC, isn't it? We shall go to GC and see how the Ellen White does what, quotes the verse and then try to explain like these two horn ram that is coming to rise in the year 1798. So I think that is maybe where we shall go and say that this ram is United States of America. So I think that is where I can we'll finish with 17, then we do now the summary. So we'll just go direct to verse 3. Revelation 17 verse 3 said, and
Godson,
yes,
you said the ram in verse 13. I mean, for the sixth kingdom. A lamb or a lamb?
sorry, lamp. It's a lamp, isn't it? I wrote a ram, strong. It's a ram. Oh. Thanks for the correction. So we will go to 17. 17 verse 3 says, it's talking about a symbol of a beast in which maybe a woman is sitting upon it. So we are going to look at the symbol of this beast. So verse 3 says, so he carried me away in the wilderness. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, isn't it? So we can also see the same comparison. The issue of 7 heads and 10 horns. So I think the interpretation is given there that six heads and 10 horns, sorry. The interpretation is given of those symbols in verse 9, isn't it? What? 7. 7 heads, 10 horns. Yeah, sorry. So the interpretation is given in 9, which says, and here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and another one is not yet come. And when it comes, he must continue a short space. So these 7 heads are 7 mountains or kingdoms, isn't it? So can we carry this one and take it to Revelation 13 and say also the 7 heads are 7 and 7 kingdoms? So, and then the 10, so the verse says that 5 are fallen. So we can see that at the time when this verse is written, we know the woman is carried into the wilderness. So at the beginning of the verse, you can say that the woman is carried to the wilderness. And usually say wilderness is a symbol of 1260, isn't it? So usually you can say that where the prophet is standing is 1798. Yeah. And say that at this point, 5 are fallen, So at this point, these 5 were fallen. 5 is up to here. So this is East. It means that the United States of America was still ruling. And then the verse says that the other one is yet to come. So this one is yet. And then it says that, and the beast that was, verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, even is the 8. So according to the chapter, you have the 8 one. So this is the beast that was and was not. So the issue of was is not. So we can take this one and compare it with, we shall compare it with paper one, because we usually say that was is when it died is not, and there's a point that you know it will come. It will resurrect. So we shall compare this, that the same beast, which you know it is the, according to you, it is the 5th one. You know, the revelator said that it is the one which will be the 8. So I think we'll talk about the nature of this one. And then the last one is about the 10 horns, verse 16. And the 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, this shall eat the. Where am I reading? I'm looking at the 10 horns. Where do you have the 10 horns? 12. And the 10 horns which you sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. So I think we say yet is this one. So here we say it is the 10 horns. They have not received kingdom of yet, but they rule for a short period of 1 hour, according to, I think that is symbolic to the to the verse. So according to uh, Revelation 17, we can say that we have eight kingdoms. Yes.
Verse 10, there's a seventh head. So where are you saying the seventh head is the 10 horns?
Verse.
Verse 10, the other is not. So five are, there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, one is, and the other is not yet come. When it comes in verse 14, it speaks.
The,
So like I said, there's one that is not yet come, who when it comes to verse 14, so short space is the 7.
yeah, this is the 7th one. It's not yet come.
So the 10, you see the 10 horns and the 7th head. Because there are 5 heads and then there's one head which is, and there's a 7th head which has not yet come.
Yes.
So
According to the chapter. According to the chapter.
But so the 7th is not yet come, and then we also told about the 10 horns, which have not received the kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So it's implying that the 10 horns are receiving power together, like they are ruling with the beast, which is now number 8.
Yes.
So what is which is it?
They are co-ruling together. This one, the 7 and 8. So that's my conclusion now. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. This is the 10 horns that co-rule together with the last kingdom. This Papa Rome.
Isn't the seven head that people from?
No, Papa Rome is the last, the 8. The 8 one is the one which was, it's not, and she'll come.
The new form of people.
The 7th, yeah.
Resurrected.
Okay. But from Revelation 13, you can see that the 7th one is the type of the 6th, because when the ram speaks as a dragon, the 7th kingdom, according to Revelation 13, is it comes to existence when you see the ram is speaking as a dragon, isn't it? And you see that is the 7th kingdom. So this is a new version of United States of America, according to me. The dragon, USA. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, we said the 7 heads are 7 kingdoms. So you can name from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes.
What I'm asking is whether the 7 is a combination of 7, like so that
Yes.
when you see the 7 head, that's all the 7 heads. So if you're using that interchangeably, and I'm not sure if 7 means all the 7.
No, it's
There's the 7 kingdom and then the 7 heads.
the 7 kingdoms.
And then up in the 5 heads, then 1 and 1, right?
Yes.
So there's the 7, the head number 7,
Uh-huh.
and then the all the heads, which are 7.
Number 7 is this one. This is number 7. But the 7 kingdoms are this one. What? But this one, according to how we saw, there is some characteristics they share. Like when we saw the beast in Revelation 13, you saw that's characteristics of this, all the kingdoms. So they share some of the characteristics, but they are not the. What I can say, that each kingdom will rule, but you can find like the Papa Rome love characteristics of Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, some things like that, because we saw the mixture of Daniel 7 in where Revelation 13, where we saw there's a lion, concept of lion, bear, leopard in one beast. So it's just a mixture of characteristics, but it's not the 7. Just a kingdom with a mixture of characteristics. Yes. Let me start from there.
So when Pastor is saying the 10 horns and the 10 kings,
Yes.
they are not received the kingdom yet,
Yes.
but they are going to receive the power to rule together with the beast. So we are making the beast, which is the second beast, we will make the second beast. Then the 10 horns has to be different kings. It's not a beast. As you say, the 10 horns because it's the same king.
I've said the 10 on equals to 7 heads. How?
That's what you say. The horns are the seven kingdom.
The 7 heads. The 7 heads are 7. I've said the 7 heads are 7 kingdoms. You can name them from 1 to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The verse says the 10 horns are the 10 kings
Uh-huh.
which are going to receive power.
Yes.
But they receive power and they remain together with the beast. So I wanted to know, because you clarify, are you saying the beast is there, like the 7 head there equals to the 10 horns, or it is the 10 kings which are separate but will rule together with the east, which is the 7. So what are you saying?
The 10 kings is the 7th according to the chapter. They are going to rule. So
One of them is saying the seventh kingdom are the 10 kings.
10 kings. It is written in
And
17.
who are those 10 kings?
So, so you're saying
17.
10 kings equal to the 7th kingdom.
Yeah.
Could you show us where the verse is saying that? Because you're speaking with other part.
But the
Tw-
verse says
12. Yeah.
these kings are separate but will rule them together with the east.
They rule together with the 8.
So, we have 1 hour. We can discuss that on the phone.
Yes, Joy.
I just want to ask, are you saying the 10 horns are the 7th kingdom because both of them have not received the kingdom as yet? Because we've been told the 7th kingdom has not received is not yet come, and the 10 horns have not received a kingdom yet. Is that why you're hating them? Because if that's the reason, it can be they've not both received the kingdom yet, but maybe one will receive the kingdom first, and then the other one will receive after them. Because me, how I see it, they're not the same. I think they are separate. They are different.
So,
Kingdom number 7 is different from the 10 horns. Just both of them, yes, have not received the kingdom yet, but they're different.
okay. I saw another hand there before I draw something. Okay, let me conclude. 65. So, for me to maybe to conclude on how this kingdom will reappear in the time of the end, I'll use Revelation 13 and say that the dragon United States of America is the 7th, because you know the lamb. When the lamb speaks as a dragon, so you see that we have shifted from the 6th to the 7th, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, the 10 horns are. I don't know if you can read dragon US. So 10 is a symbol of confederacy, like different nations coming together. We can, when we were doing numbers, Almoni, you saw that 10 is a symbol of confederacy. So here we need to see that this kingdom will be formed by different nations that will come together and form this Dragon USA. But I think we agree the 7th kingdom is the Dragon USA. And then from here, for us to get the 8, you can say that this is pagan Rome. For pagan Rome to come into power, they had 3 obstacles to remove. This is Syria in 65. Then 63 we had Judah, and then Judea. As it written? Then we had Egypt. So after that 1 AD, we can say that pagan Rome started ruling at 1 AD because this is where they had removed the last obstacle. And then when it came to Papal Rome, we say that it also had 3 obstacles, which were Eluri, 493. Then we had 534 and 538. After there, we say that it was ready to rule now. From 538 is where we say that Papa Rome is ruling. Then the last one, this one is also Rome. Now when Rome comes back, it will also be Rome, but I want to call it modern Rome. Modern Rome also has three obstacles, which is King of the South, which is said is 1989. Then we have, this is 2024, July 18. Then the last obstacle will be Egypt. So you can say that the Eighth Kingdom has not yet ruled this Rome, this modern Rome, because it is remaining only with the last obstacle, which is Egypt, according to Daniel 11:40-45. So, but this one is ruling from Sunday law. So you can say the seventh kingdom started to rule here, and the eighth will start to rule here after it has conquered the last obstacle. So that's how I differentiate between this one and this one. But I can't say maybe I don't know the nature of how the eight will look, but I know it is also the product of the seventh, just the same USA. Yes?
So you're not sure how the last kingdom will look like, the eighth kingdom. Does that mean so you're not? It's not. Is it? Do you have a? Do you think it will be papal Rome coming back? The same papal Rome which was there in 5 as the fifth kingdom coming back, or will it? Or this? How do you see it? Or you're not sure?
I don't think so, because it's different. It's different because also it's very different. It's not the same. Yeah. It will be a product of this one, because we read that this one and this one have one mind. So if we really understand how the dragon USA look like, you'll understand how the modern Rome will look like.
Is there a chance that the USA is modern Rome?
Yeah, sure. There's
So
a chance.
that seventh chance, there really isn't another kingdom coming after the USA, because it is that seventh kingdom, and at the same time it is the eighth, because it's a resurrection of papal Rome.
Yes. For me, I think it's just USA, but it will be changing faces, according to me. But I don't have maybe proofs to show that one, because you saw also the seventh kingdom is not different from USA, just USA, but a dragon face here, United States. So I think also this one will be also. So that's my conclusion, that I wanted us to see that the seventh kingdom started to rule at July 2018, 2024, Sunday law. And then when the last obstacle, which is Egypt, will be conquered, now we'll call now that's the beginning of the eight. Because we know that Rome never changes. It follows the structure of three obstacles and then it rules. I think my time is over. I'll stop there. If you have a question, you can raise it. Let's believe and pray. God, the creator of heaven and earth, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for what we have learned today. We thank you for what we have learned and what we have learned today. As we are going to digest the message, let it be of great importance to us, and at the end of it, it will promote love, not grouping. At this point, we pray for your Holy Spirit as we continue with the next session with us and guide us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.